one of the greatest moments of my life. This took place when my daughter Alize was born. And I have two kids, but this birth was special because the doctors allowed me to deliver her. So I was the first one to hold her when she came out of the womb. And she looked just like an angel. She had beautiful eyes, rosy cheeks. So it was the greatest moment of my life. Unfortunately, the next day came the worst day of my life when I had to leave because I was deployed to Afghanistan. So it's amazing how you can have the best day of your life followed by the worst day of your life because we're being deployed. This is just an example of one of the hardships we go through as deployed soldiers. So today I'd like to talk to you about the hardships that we endure as deployed soldiers, and which are separation, we have a rigid lifestyle, we have limited food options, and harsh job options. And it's a hard job physically and mentally. And we are the few of the country, and we sacrifice ourselves so others won't have to. So the first hardship I like to talk about is separation that we endure. We endure family separation. We're away from our spouses, husbands or wives, even partners, or our kids, children, sons and daughters, even stepkids. And also country separation. Some of us miss our country, miss the lifestyle that we're used to, and we miss all that commodities that we enjoy on a daily basis in our country, all the freedoms. And also pet separation. Some of us have dogs, cats, birds, and they miss their pets, and I don't blame them. But besides separation, we also have a rigid lifestyle out here. And so the second hardship is a rigid lifestyle. And this comes from a hectic lifestyle, from our work hours, which are 12 to 14 hours a day. Sometimes we even work 16 hours a day. And we only get 1 day a week. Sometimes we work 2 to 3 weeks without a day off. And also repetition. We do the same thing every day. And once the day is over, it pretty much starts all over again the next day. And also the living conditions. We have a very confined space. So you can say that we have hardly any privacy. And some of us compare it to prison. Some soldiers say that prison is better than being deployed, and others think that inmates have it better than deployed soldiers. And we also have no free time, no weekends, obviously, since we have to be out here. We can't go out of the base and go out party and have fun. And also lack of control under enemy constant fire. Now we can't let our guard down. So, and at the end of the day, also we can't go home and be with our families and feel at ease, feel in control. But aside from the living conditions, we also face food hardship. So the third hardship is the food options that we have. Now we don't have any diverse food options, obviously, because we are here, so pretty much gotta eat what they feed us. And so we don't have the freedom to go out and buy anything from a fast food place like McDonald's, Burger King. And pretty much every week we have the same food on a certain day. So that gets pretty boring too. And sometimes we have limited food. I'm not saying that we're starved out here, but sometimes it's not enough to satisfy. But besides the food, one of the hardest things we do is performing our job out here. And so the fourth hardship I like to talk about is our job conditions. And this sometimes is hard because sometimes we don't have the right tools because we are here 2,000 miles from the United States. Tools break sometimes, and we have to get them replaced. We have to wait for the tools to come in. Or even we don't have enough parts sometimes, or we have the wrong part, and we have to order parts, we have to wait for them to come in. So that can be time consuming. But as soldiers, one of the hardest things is when we have to kill. And it's something we don't like to talk about, but unfortunately it's our reality of our deployment. As one of my fellow comrades shared with me this story, he decided to remain anonymous, so I won't be mentioning his name, but he shared this story with me. During my first deployment, I was very excited because I was going out on patrol. I was a gunner on a scout truck, and I was excited to go out around and patrol and see the different scenarios in the country, and go out and meet different soldiers in different FOBs, which are forward operating bases. But one day the fun came to a stop when we came under enemy fire, and I had to return fire and kill the enemy. So I killed many insurgents. And the hardest thing about was what happened next, which when one of the insurgents who died, a kid who was just about 8 years old. He was just a little kid. He picked up an AK-47 and fired against us. So the hardest thing was for me to kill this little kid. And it was terrible because at the time my son was 8 years old. So I had just realized that I'd killed somebody who was the same age as my son. So psychologically and emotionally, it was one of the hardest things that I've done. So I've shared with you about the hardships that we endured as soldiers. So in conclusion, it's not hard being a deployed soldier since we have to endure separation, rigid lifestyle, limited food options, and a harsh job. So it's not easy being a deployed soldier, and it's not for everyone. If you're single perhaps and you're looking for an adventure, maybe this is the place where you want to be, this is what you want to do. But for my case, or many other cases, if you have families, if you have children, your spouses, your partners, of course you're gonna miss them. So this is not where you want to be. So if you have kids and family, I don't recommend this for you at all. So there is one thing that is great about deployment, and that's when the deployment comes to an end, and we look forward to going back home.